Welcome everyone, and we are back with Unmatched Adventures. Not only will we be playing with new fighters today, but we're going to have new villains for the first time since Tales to Amaze. Of course, I am talking about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Adventures set, which is now available for sale through Restoration's web store, and the Kickstarter backers will be getting their copies within the next few weeks. Today I'll be playing using the media copy that Restoration provided early for me so I could record and get this posted on the day that the embargo lifts, so big shout out to them as always. However, I will not have any of the upgraded components yet because my set that I backed has not arrived yet, but once I do, definitely expect more videos on the channel showing off all of the cool components when we do more games with these new villains and minions. In case you aren't aware, today is also the release for the Lee vs. Ali set, which is the re-release of Bruce Lee as well as the brand new fighter Muhammad Ali. Don't worry, I still plan on doing adventures games with those fighters as well, but since this one was quite a bit of work to edit and go through, I'm going to save that one for another day. Rest assured, we will be taking Bruce Lee and Muhammad Ali against Krang and the two minions that we will not see in today's game. My goal is to have that video out a week from now. I also want to show off the playable versions of Krang and Shredder, facing off against the other villain in the set, and so expect those videos to come out in the coming weeks as well. Finally, it is October, and you know what that means. Hack/repeat. Last year we had a full Set Friday episode with those fighters. However, this time around I think I want to take them into adventures again. I might do a video here, or I might stream it on my Twitch channel, so keep an eye out for that as well. I'm so excited to finally have more adventures content to play with. I hope you have as much fun watching it as I did playing it. Enjoy! Welcome everyone, and today is a very exciting day because we will be showcasing the new Unmatched Adventures Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles set. As you probably know if you've watched the channel before, whenever a new set comes out I usually like to run the new fighters against Unmatched Adventures villains in co-op, playing all the new fighters myself, just to kind of show off how they play in a way that's different than the player versus player type of matches you might be used to. That works particularly well for this set because it is the first new Adventures set we've had since it originally debuted with Tales to Amaze. So I'm very much looking forward to having new villains and minions to fight against. Not just playing the turtles here, of course, but in future videos being able to have extra options for villains and minions to showcase all sorts of different fighters and how they might interact. Today we'll be keeping it all within box, but in the future, I might branch out and add some of the minions from Tales to Amaze into one of the TMNT villains, or vice versa. Maybe introduce some of the challenges and whatnot, or maybe even the Henchmen and Ally deck to the other maps. But yeah, there's a lot of options. This is really cool because it gives so many more permutations on how to play adventures. So very excited to see how that works. In addition, we're going to be seeing some completely new mechanics with the two new maps for the TMNT villains. So in this video we'll be doing Shredder, and I'll be playing the 4 turtles that come in the box itself. As always, I'll be showing off new cards as I take turns for each of the characters, and I'll also try to explain their new mechanics as they come up. I don't want to front load everything, but we will start with the main mechanic for Shredder, which is that he is trying to take over New York City here. And we have to protect each of the boroughs, so it's split up into the 5 boroughs, and currently Queens is the one that's starting under threat. We've got a stack of tiles here with Queens at the top. As the boroughs fall, they will move across the tracks similar to the bridges in Mothman or the invasion tokens that you flip for the Martian. That happens whenever the threat value gets to 5 here, and then ticks over to this little arrow here, it resets back to 1, and then the borough falls. When that happens, we will move this stack over and flip the current borough that was under threat to the fallen side, which will do a couple things. One, it will flip any foot soldiers that are there to the entrenched side. Once they're on this side, they can no longer be removed from the board, and they also deal a damage whenever you move through them. They don't stop movement, but they deal a damage to any fighters that move through them on our side, and they cannot be removed from the board. And that's important because Shredder will increase the threat by 1 plus the number of boroughs that have foot soldiers in them. So once they're on the entrenched side and they can't be removed, this means that it'll be a permanent acceleration to how fast he brings up the threat track. So we want to obviously avoid boroughs falling if possible, but it's probably going to be inevitable at some point as he continues to spread these guys out. So we start with one on the board for each of the players in the game. So we'll have 4 starting out here. And he'll be adding more through card effects and his initiative card. In order to remove foot soldiers while they're still on the non-entrenched side like they are now, whenever you maneuver, you can designate one of your fighters during that maneuver to remove foot soldiers, and they will do so whenever they cross a connection that has a foot soldier on it. So let's say I was going with Raph and I maneuvered, and let's say I boosted with a 2 value card. So I had 4 total movement. I could designate Casey as the fighter who is going to be removing foot soldiers this move, and I would go 1, 2, 3, 4, and I could get rid of both of these. Now, unfortunately, because you can only do it with one of your fighters per maneuver, I would not also be able to go like 1, 2, 3, 4 and get rid of the other ones with Raph. However, if I did a second maneuver, then I could designate either of them, whether that be Raph or Casey again, to do removal for the foot soldiers. So we're going to want to try to keep that under control, similar to the bridges and the fields for Tales to Amaze. It's only part of a maneuver, so even if you move through foot soldiers through movement effects like a skirmish or what have you, it will not remove them. So keep that in mind for when we're trying to keep stuff under control. Alright, so I think that's pretty much everything. I'll explain minion abilities and stuff as it comes up, but today we have Shredder joined by Baxter Stockman, Bebop and Rocksteady, Rat King, and Wingnut. I think we are pretty much good to go, and yeah, we're really looking forward to this, so hope everyone enjoys, and let's try to take Shredder down. Alright, so right off the bat, this is going to be showcasing one of the other mechanics that is in this set, which are these Henchmen and Ally cards. So these are optional to use, but I wanted to show off all the stuff the set has to offer, so I did include them. You start with 2 Henchmen randomly in the deck, and then you have this Ally deck here, where the top card is always shown face up. The way that the Henchmen and Allies work is they are cards that go in the initiative deck, and they have effects that happen whenever they're drawn. So this one is the Granitor. He is going to have the villain recover 1 health. Good for us because the villain has not taken any damage yet. So this will not do anything in this case. And then they have an end of round effect that if there is an ally to the right of their position, then they remove each other from the game. So getting allies can not only give you positive effects, but it can also get rid of the detrimental effects that the henchmen provide throughout the game. In order to recruit an ally, each of the allies has a number here, which is the starting space. As long as we have a fighter in that starting space at the end of the round, then we will be able to recruit this ally. And there's an initiative card in the deck that has that effect, basically. So that card, whenever it triggers its end of round effect, as long as we have someone in that spot, then we get this ally. And then they get shuffled into the initiative deck for the next round. If we fail to get the ally, not only does this get removed from the game, and then the next one gets flipped face up for the next round, but we also add a random henchman to the initiative deck. So getting allies is not only going to help us, but it's going to prevent the bad effects from stacking up in the deck. The ally that we have currently is Ace Duck. He is recruited if we have someone in the player 1 position, so where Leo is right now. So as long as someone is here at the end of the round, then we will get Ace Duck into the deck. And the effect when drawn says 1 player may draw until they have 3 cards in hand. So very similar to the drawbridge in the Mothman scenario. It's a little less predictable because this will be randomly in the initiative deck, but not too shabby. In particular, if you have someone that can, afford to go down to like 1 or even 0 cards, and you get that at the right time, that could be a very nice boost indeed. Alright, so yeah, the Granitor did not have an effect, fortunately, so we'll be going on to the next one. Well, it is the other henchman that started on the deck. This is Taka. Right now, deal 1 damage to a hero. So everyone's at full health. Raph has the most HP. Leo's pretty high up there as well. I know Leo's got a little bit of healing. I haven't actually looked through all of the decks yet. I kind of wanted this to be a first-time play without being super familiar with all of the hero decks as well as the minion and villain decks. I did play 1 a quick 2-player game with a buddy the other day, so I have a little bit of knowledge on a couple of the minions and Shredder, but not the full deck because it was a pretty quick game. You know, Leo is the fearless leader. He will take a hit for the team and go down to 15 health. Alright. Shredder is up. Okay, so Shredder has move 3. I'm pretty sure all of the enemies in this box also have move 3, like the Tales to Amaze box. And then his end of round is advance to threat marker 1 plus the number of burrows with a foot soldier in them. So currently that would just be 1. If round were to end now, it would be 1 plus 1 burrow, so 2. So we'd go up to here. However, he is going to move around a little bit here and try to attack someone, so he is going to be 2 away from Splinter. He's 2 away from Donnie and Metalhead, and he is, I believe, 3 away from everyone else. So it's going to be either here and attacking Splinter, or it's going to be here or here attacking one of those two. Splinter's probably going to be taking this one head on, so we'll have Shredder go over here. And then we will have him attack Splinter with this card here. I love the card back on this. Alright, so showing off the hand currently for Leo, we have Wise Beyond His Years. This is a 2-value versatile with an after combat effect that says if the opposing fighter is in fewer zones than Leonardo, deal 2 damage to the opposing fighter. So this is an interesting one, gives you some cool positioning options, especially on this map. You've got like a lot of these 2-zone spaces, so we can probably try to make that work. However, not going to be relevant on this one since it's a Leo card, plus even if we could use it, Shredder is in 2 and we're only in 1. So, and we got Quick Strike, the 3-value versatile that draws a card. Just a nice flexible card, pretty nice to have. Got 2 copies of that in hand currently. We got Protective Father. This was one of my reveal cards. This was actually the most recent reveal I did. This is a scheme that lets Splinter swap spaces with another friendly fighter, and if he does, they both recover 2 health, and then you gain an action. So this seems like a really strong card in general, but especially in co-op, like it gives you positioning options, gives you healing for Splinter and someone else. Even in 1v1, like being able to give 2 health to Splinter, 2 health to Leo seems very strong. So this will be very nice, I'm sure, shortly. And then we got Fearless Leader. During combat, add +2 to this card's value for each other friendly fighter adjacent to the opposing fighter. So this really rewards you for surrounding and ganging up on someone. This seems really good. If we could get, like, you know, someone in a more centralized position and then just surround them. Like you could have this be, you know, upwards of like 11 in a few spots on this map. So those are, well, that's what we got in hand. The only thing we can block with is Quick Strike, and I think it makes sense to do so. Just replace itself and block some damage. Now we could not block, and then we would be able to use Protective Father soon. But no one else is really hurt, so I don't think I want to take too much damage on Splinter yet, especially because I'd rather use that in a spot where it's particularly advantageous to utilize the swap as well. So we're going to block with Quick Strike, and he is going to be attacking with Maybe Next Time Turtles. So it is a 4 to a 3, so Splinter will take 1 damage, down to 8. He has a lot of HP, especially with the 4 healing from his scheme, so very beefy sidekick. And then after combat, we are going to draw a card. So let's go ahead and do that. Got Heroes in Half Shell. This is a 5-value block with no effect, and this is in every one of the Turtles decks. They all have a similar motif, but of course different art because each of them is done by a different artist. So very nice value block to have there. And then place Shredder in a burrow with the fewest foot soldiers, and then deploy 2 foot soldiers to Shredder's burrow. Okay, so currently that can be anywhere except Queens, and then we're going to be putting 2 dudes down. So ideally I'd like to do it somewhere where we can clear them pretty quickly. I don't hate keeping them kind of further back here because we've got pretty good cards to defend with right now for these 2. and I don't think, like, I'm going to kind of take on the same strategies that I've learned from playing a lot of Tales to Amaze, where you usually don't want to focus the villain early because they have a lot of HP. The scaling is a little bit different in this. In the rulebook, it shows scaling for the villain based on number of players. Before, it was just a flat 10 per player, but now it is a little bit more balanced, where the lower player counts have a little bit more HP. I think one player is like 14, for instance. Two player, I think, is like 21, 22, somewhere around there. And then 3 and 4 player, I think, ends up being a little bit less than the previous scaling. Right now, we're doing 4 players, so he has 35 health instead of 40. Probably doesn't make a huge difference in the grand scheme of things, but it definitely makes it a little bit harder to just rush the villain down in like 1 or 2 player games. And it also means that it isn't quite as much of a slog in 4-player games, because you would often get to the end of the game if you take out all the minions where you're just wailing on the villain over and over again. And there can still be some tension there, especially with a deck like Mothman, where you have to worry about what types of cards you're throwing into his various blocks that he could use. But I think shaving off a little bit of HP from the top means that the game will conclude a little bit quicker without a little bit of that dragging that can happen with the 40 HP. Now, of course, this being co-op, you can customize it to your liking. If you think it's still too much HP, you could bring it down a bit. If you want more of a challenge, you could increase it. A lot of flexibility with how you set up the co-op modes to kind of match the difficulty you're wanting. All right, so I think we will, yeah, because if we send them down here, we can have one of these start to clear foot soldiers off, and then the other one can deal with kind of standing in Shredder's way, maybe go for some of the minions. I think we'll put him over here. I like kind of putting him in this spot because it gives us options on where to move him when he goes again, which will be a while from now, but still. I also really like, if you've noticed, these spots here, these are like the covers to the sewers, and this zone here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, those 5 spaces, which does mean, yes, a ranged fighter can shoot from here to here, but I really like that that's kind of like the tunnels underground and whatnot, so very weird part of the map, like to wrap your head around when you first see it, but opens up some cool options as far as getting around. So yeah, I think we'll put him there, and then we'll go ahead and put 2 dudes, I think here and here, because that lets us set up some stuff on our turn. All right, so that'll be Shredder. Baxter Stockman. All right. So, Baxter is 2 away from Splinter, 2 away from... He's 2 away from Splinter, he's 2 away from Michelangelo. Yeah, I think we'll have him go for Mikey, because I do want someone to be by Michelangelo at the start of his turn so he can start attacking. I think that's reasonable. Now, end of round, Baxter Stockman does do something that's quite annoying. He swaps spaces with the hero with the highest health. Then he puts a Mauser token down. So these Mauser tokens, whenever you move into the space that they're on, you have to discard the top card of your deck. So it's annoying. It's not the end of the world, but it can be annoying. One of the ways he puts them down is from his end of round, and he also kind of messes with our positioning. So we do have to be careful with this, because he can disrupt getting the allies, because if the person who ends up having the highest health is the one who's on the ally spot and he swaps before it checks for the ally trigger, then he completely disrupts that. So something to keep in mind. Because of that, I think putting sidekicks on the spots to get allies is very valuable, because he cannot disrupt those. Okay, and then I don't think we're going to block, because I want to smack with what Michelangelo has in hand right now. So I'm just going to take this from Baxter. It's going to be check out my latest invention. It's a 2-value attack. After combat, place a Mauser token on the highest numbered starting space without one. If no token was placed, you put his card on the bottom of the deck. So this would give him an extra turn if he had already filled all of the spaces, but he has not put any out yet, so he will not be doing that this time. So 2 damage. Down to 12 for Mikey. And then Mauser token on the highest numbered starting space, which is actually 5 right in the center there. Okay. And then that will be it for Baxter. Friends in Odd Places. So this is the card I was talking about for the allies. It does not do anything when drawn, but then end of round, if a hero or sidekick is on the revealed ally starting space, add that ally to the initiative deck. Otherwise, remove that ally from the game and add a henchman to the initiative deck and then reveal a new ally. So that will come up later. We just have to make sure that it's not the person getting swapped with Baxter. Player 4, that is Michelangelo. So we are going to get to see what he's got going on. So Mikey's ability card, his ability itself is Pizza Party. After you attack or scheme, draw one card. Your starting hand and maximum hand size is 3. So we only have 3 cards in hand right now, and can only have 3 cards as far as our end of our turns. But he gets to draw a bunch while attacking and scheming. So we'll hopefully be able to show off some cool stuff he can do here on this turn. But let's look at his cards first. We've got Guaranteed Delivery. This is a 3-value versatile. Immediately, you may put a card from your hand on the bottom of your deck to cancel all effects on your opponent's card. And then after combat, if your hand is empty, draw 2 cards. So not only can this be a cancel, but the top ability feeds into the bottom ability. Because if you have this and one other card in hand, you attack, you put the other card on the bottom to cancel their effects, and then the after combat will trigger since your hand is now empty, and then you draw 2 from that, and then after that resolves, you draw 1 from your ability. So you go from having no cards after the attack to 3 cards in hand, and you can continue going if you have some action gain and whatnot. Speaking of which, we have Boisterous Beatdown. This is a 2-value attack that says after combat, gain 1 action. If you won the combat, gain 2 actions instead. So this can get really nasty with all of the draw that you get just from attacking, because by default this will be gain an action, draw a card if it doesn't get canceled, potentially draw a card, gain 2 actions if you win, which is not easy to do with the 2 obviously, but still possible, especially against the enemies and adventures, since they always have deception that could be drawn. So quite a cool card there for combo chaining and whatnot. If you're playing in 1v1 or 2v2, etc., you can like maybe bait out blocks with this and then have the action gain and card draw to keep attacking and have undefended attacks go through. Very nice card for sure. And then this is a familiar one from Bruce Lee's deck, Nunchaku. So this is a scheme that adds +1 to the value of Michelangelo's attacks this turn, and you gain an action. And because of his ability, you also draw a card. So very nice to just add extra damage and then also keep your turn going. So I think we probably just want to set up and start smacking Baxter. Ideally, we can attack with Nunchaku, or play Nunchaku, attack with Beatdown, and then maybe eventually set up for a Guaranteed Delivery. We are going to be drawing cards constantly, so like this, neither of these help with getting our hand low enough to benefit off of the after combat of this card, but I think we just start swinging and see how it goes. Let's start with Nunchaku. We're going to add 1 to the value of our attacks this turn just for Michelangelo, so if we get some April cards, or if April attacked with Guaranteed Delivery, since it's an any, would not apply to her, but that's fine. I'm actually going to keep this like here just so we remember it. And then gain an action and draw a card because of our ability. Alright, so this card, Cowabunga, 3-value versatile. During combat, add +1 to this card's value for each other card you've played this turn. So, very strong. Obviously can hit for a ton of damage if you get like some of these action chaining things and whatnot. Also, Nunchaku just adds 2 to this because it adds +1 for the effect of Nunchaku, and we played Nunchaku, so very good combo. Cowabunga's already a 5 if we were to attack with it now, but I think we can do better than that. So let's go ahead and attack with Boisterous Beatdown first and see if we can get that extra action. We're obviously going to get at least the 1, but hopefully he blocks low and we can get a second action gain off of this. Unfortunately not, so sometimes they explode. It's going to be a 3-value defense. So 3/3, no damage done. Then Baxter's after combat is if he won the combat, each player discards the top card of their deck. All right. Sorry, guys. So we'll do Michelangelo's. So Michelangelo's card was Let's Go. It's a 3-value versatile, any, that says after combat, move a friendly fighter up to 3 spaces. I really like that this is a friendly fighter because not only can you do either of your fighters when you're playing just 1v1, but this would let you move any of our heroes or sidekicks on the board in co-op. Donnie is going to have Short Circuit. This is his cancel, so it only cancels after combats, but it is a 3 value, so similar to Caught in a Web from Black Widow. Pretty solid card there. Leo is going to discard Katana. Oof, that's a rough one to lose. It's just a blank 6, but hey, that's a very solid attack. And then Raph is going to... Ooh, this was one of the cards that Maneuver Men previewed. Casey card Slapshot that is a 6 if he's adjacent to the opposing fighter. Man, those were some rough cards to lose. So, I understand that Baxter is very annoying. Understood. Alright, so we are not going to do any damage. We are going to gain an action from that. And that's going to be... Actually, I'm going to keep these cards here so we know how many we've played just for Cowabunga purposes. So that'll gain us an action, so we still have 2 actions. We do not gain the extra one, but that's fine. And then we do draw a card from our ability. Turtle Power. This is another card that is in each of the Turtles' decks. It is a 3 value card that you can boost. So, very nice there. I mean, this is a card that doesn't gain an action, so we could theoretically get to the point where we can get the draw from Guaranteed Delivery. That being said, we don't really want to ditch Cowabunga because it's already a 6 and is only going up as far as potential. Let's attack with Guaranteed Delivery, and we're probably just using it as a 4 here. Let's see how that goes. Check out my latest invention. It's just a blank 3 on defense, so that'll be 1 damage. We do not need to do the bottom to cancel because we also won't get the draw 2 since we'll still have a card in hand if we bottom 1. So Baxter will take 1. Down to 9. That goes away. And then we will not draw from that, but we will draw from our ability. Another Nunchaku. Okay, I mean, that is probably good enough to play and just get a big Cowabunga off, I think. If we draw another action gain, we could... I guess I'll keep these here. If we get another action gain, like another Boisterous, we could set it up for even more. And then we draw from that. Hiya. After combat, deal 1 damage to an adjacent opposing fighter. You may put a card from your hand on the bottom of your deck to gain 1 action. I mean, that is an action gain, and it actually hits a lot harder than the other one that I was mentioning. Yeah, that seems pretty good. This is a 6 right now. 6 that gains an action. Yeah, let's just try to delete Baxter. How about that? We'll attack Baxter with Hiya. Oh boy. Gonna be Deception, so it's gonna be 6 damage. Baxter goes down to 3. And then he's going to take 1 from the after combat, so he goes down to 2. Alright. This all reshuffles for his deck. Man, Cowabunga seems like overkill now. Because what Cowabunga is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's a 10. I really wish I could attack something else. If we got in that extra action from Boisterous, we would be able to maybe move over to another enemy and smack them instead. I mean, I do think that we want to gain that action, because otherwise we end the turn and don't even kill Baxter, so... I guess the question is, do we just bottom Cowabunga? No, I mean, it's still probably good. Alright, well, we'll bottom... We also have 3 Cowabungas, so like if we use 1 overkill here, it's not the worst. We'll bottom the Turtle Power since we don't have a great thing to boost with right now. And then we'll draw a card from ability. Back for seconds. After combat, shuffle 2 random cards from your discard pile back into your deck. Okay, so if we use the Cowabunga now, we could even recycle it. Also, our Nunchakus potentially get recycled here, which would be nice because we have used both of them. So yeah, sure. We'll fire off a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 from the 5 cards played, 5 other cards played, and 2 Nunchakus. It's going to be a 10 value Cowabunga going straight at Baxter's face. It's going to block for 3 and take 7, which, yeah, definitely takes him down from 2 to -5, and he's out of here. So he's not going to be annoying for us anymore as far as putting these Mousers out. And he's not going to swap us around, which will also make it easier to get the allies. So goodbye, Baxter. The Mouser that's out does stay there because just like the webs and the acid from Tarantula and Blob in Tales to Amaze, the Mousers do not go away when Baxter goes down. I don't actually think there's a way to get rid of them either, just like those other tokens. So they will be there for the rest of time. And then that is going to be our last action. We do draw from the Cowabunga. Alright, this is a scheme, an April scheme, shell insertion. Choose 2 different effects. Each opponent discards 1 card. Move a friendly fighter up to 2 spaces. Put a card from your hand on the bottom of your deck to gain 1 action. And shuffle 2 random cards from your discard pile back into your deck. The discard is not going to be very good, but all of those other 3 seem very nice in co-op. Obviously, if you have a combo turn like we just had there, the bottom 2 are the most valuable. But being able to move someone around, whether it's you or someone else on the board, is quite nice as well. But yeah, so that will be a pretty nice card to have for next turn, Mikey goes. And yeah, I do believe that is everything. So, you know, just a casual 6 cards played that turn, and what, like 7 actions or something? Or maybe it was just 6 actions, because I didn't maneuver at all. But still pretty good. Alright. Next is going to be Wingnut. End of round, he swaps spaces with an adjacent hero or sidekick. That player discards a random card and you deal damage equal to that card's boost value to that fighter. Woof! That is... I hate that. But it's only if there's someone adjacent, so there is counterplay to it, similar to how you can avoid being in Jersey Devil's zone, or avoid being in Ant Queen's zone when she gets her pheromones going, etc. Alright, cool. I like how there's, between Baxter, I'll remove Baxter since he's dead. I like how there's a lot of manipulation for positioning, because it makes you think about it for the ally deck stuff. Fortunately for us, the minions going early in the order let us plan around those effects. Also right now, Wingnut is over here, so he would not be disrupting the current ally, but if like it was ally 3, he would potentially give us some problems since he's going to end up in that general vicinity. Yeah, so he is going to have to move here, and then we can have him go for either Donnie or Metalhead. Let's take a look at what we've got for them in hand. We've got Party Wagon, which is a Donatello scheme. Move a friendly fighter up to 5 spaces. They may move through opposing fighters, then deal 2 damage to an opposing fighter they moved through. That is pretty nice. I guess in hindsight, I guess I should have looked again at Donnie's hand, because in hindsight I could have kept the Cowabunga just maneuvered with Mikey, and then used this to kill Baxter since he had already gone and was at 2 HP. Oh well, the Cowabunga was way cooler, so I do not regret a thing. But yeah, seems like a really good scheme. We got Untested Enhancements. This is a Metalhead 3 value versatile. During combat, discard the bottom card of your deck. Add its boost value to this card's value. So that's particularly nice because remember that Donnie's ability is whenever you maneuver, you can draw 2 instead of 1. And if you do, you put a card from hand on the bottom of your deck. So you can specifically set up a good boost value, especially if it's on a situational card that you don't need at the moment, for this to be a pretty good attack or defense, depending on what you need it for. We've got one of the inventions. We've got the Smoke Bomb here. Remove up to 4 scheme cards in your discard pile from the game, and then you gain that many actions. And then when you play this, you tuck it underneath the ability cards, so just this purple part is showing, and then that's active for the rest of the game. So when you play a scheme, you gain an action. So if you've drawn and played a lot of your schemes before you find this, you can get a big burst and have a crazy turn with a ton of actions. But if you get it early like we have, you can also just play it. Maybe you only have 1 or 2 schemes in your discard, you play it, gain an action or 2, and then just have this active for the rest of the game. I could also see some instances, and it might be this game, depending on what it looks like, where you just play this straight up as your first scheme, and then you just have all your other schemes have incrementally more value over the course of the game. We'll see. We got Bow Staff. It's a 3-value Donnie defense. After combat, deal 1 damage to an opposing fighter adjacent to Donatello, and then draw a card. Pretty nice. 3-value block that draws a card is solid and then gets a bit of extra damage if you're defending against someone who's next to you. You can even set this up to work against range fighters if you force them into a zone cutoff, so seems like a pretty good defense overall. And then Shift Focus, 2-value versatile. After combat, move another fighter in Donatello's zone up to 3 spaces. They may move through other fighters. So that's just like super flexible. It's actually what I might be blocking with here because it would let us move Wingnut away and not have to worry about his stupid effect. We are going after him though, so we can always maneuver away. And we might want to attack him, so I might still keep him nearby. We'll see. Those are our options. It's anyone in your zone too. That's super flexible. I actually really like this card. Also, as a side note, you might have noticed, and it was particularly apparent to me when I was looking at this card, when looking through the cards in the deck, but Donatello's artist is the same artist as Tesla from Tales to Amaze, and you can just tell the style. I absolutely love Tesla's art, and so seeing Donnie have a very similar style, which kind of fits with the whole experiments, inventions, etc. Very cool, very cool. Could just block with this and deal some damage back, cycle the card. So yeah, let's just Bow Staff. Alright. Jump in here, Screw Loose. Alright, so this is just going to be a blank 2 on attack. On defense, it swaps and then deals a damage to each sidekick and hero adjacent to him. And then each villain and minion adjacent recovers a health. So, okay, so his whole thing is just kind of getting in the middle of everyone and causing chaos. I actually really like that. Really cool minion design so far. All right, so 2 to 3, no damage. And then Donnie will deal 1 back with Bow Staff, so Wingnut goes down to 9. And then we will draw a card, which is going to be Quick Strike. After combat, draw a card. This is the same card as the Leo one, right? Yeah. Same card, same name, different art, of course. Donnie's got... All of these decks have really cool art. Donnie's might initially be my favorite, but there's some cool stuff that we'll see in some of the others as well, so... Always hard to choose. I love when they have different artists for each of the characters because it gives you so much variety and personality for each of the decks. Rat King. So Rat King has these rat tokens, which give -2 defense to sidekicks and heroes that are on their spot. So these are very annoying if you are standing on the spot while getting attacked. Doesn't affect offense, but affects defense. And so at the end of the round, he will place a rat token in his space if there isn't one already. And then if not, swaps spaces with the hero with the lowest health. So basically the opposite of Baxter, who swapped with the highest health hero. Lots of movement disruption. Also, this is cool because if you do what you try to do against fighters like the Blob, and just make sure they're not moving around so they don't keep putting their tokens down every turn, this actually has another effect that happens if you're doing that. So I really like that you either have to decide whether you want your positioning interrupted or if you want to have them put more rats down. But sometimes you're going to be able to use that swap to your advantage, so maybe there'll be times where you actually want that to happen. So definitely interesting. It does look like Splinter is going to be the only one he can go for. It's a little bit annoying. I was hoping to go before him because my plan for Leo's turn was to use Leo's ability that lets you move any fighter 1 space. And I was going to move Splinter either here or here, so a single maneuver could take out both of the foot soldiers. We can still move Rat King out of the way, so we can still at least clear the path, but it doesn't let me do it in a single maneuver, which is annoying. Attacking Splinter. Splinter has the Quick Strike to block with, but honestly, there's no rats on the board yet, so I feel like it might be a situation like, you know, Blob and other fighters like that where they get bonus effects if they have their tokens on the board. So this is probably when I'm least scared of this minion. And I do want to enable Shredder's scheme to be able to swap and heal for full value. So honestly, taking a little bit of damage now is fine. I think I like that. So we'll just take this attack. No blocks. You've got a rat problem. Well, glad I didn't block it because it is a cancel. So 2 value cancel. And then after combat, if Rat King won the combat, place the opposing fighter in a space with the rat token. Okay, so that won't happen because there are no rats currently. So honestly, about as well as it could have gone. Take 2 damage down to 6. And then nothing else happens. That's a good card to know about, though. There's 2 of those in the deck. So Rat King has a cancel, as well as some movement shenanigans. Alright, and that'll be it. Player 3, that is going to be Donnie. I would like to set up this big hit for Metalhead. The only issue is if I maneuver to set this up with a big boost. We don't currently have any, like, other than this, but I don't want to do that because I want to play that, whether now or later. So I don't want that on the bottom of my deck. I'd like to set up a big attack here, but we need to find a good card in the top 2, which is, you know, probably not the worst odds. Worst case scenario, we could bottom like something like this and have a 5. The only issue with that, of course, is that if I maneuver, then attack with Metalhead, this does not move him away, so I can move Donnie away, but Metalhead will still be adjacent, which means Wingnut will swap and make me discard a random card, which if I haven't played this yet, that would be pretty rough losing that. Okay, let's go ahead and do some setup this turn. Let's go ahead and maneuver, draw 2. Well, we got 2 more copies of our cancels, so this cancels after combat. So we have to put 1 card from hand on the bottom of our deck. I guess Shift Focus is probably... It's nice to have the flexibility there, but I think out of all these cards, I would probably prefer... I think I might consider doing one of the cancels, since it is a specific type of cancel, but I did lose one already, so I don't think I want to do that, given that that these are the only 2 left in the deck at the moment. So we'll put that Shift Focus on the bottom, and then we have the actual movement to do. Yeah, so let's go ahead and move here with Metalhead and here with Donnie, and then we'll maneuver again, drawing 2. Well, all right. Well, we got all of the inventions going. So we got Self-Defense Grid. After combat, remove up to 4 defense or versatile cards in your discard pile from the game. Donatello recovers that much health. And then the ongoing is add +1 to the value of your defenses. And we've got the Electro Grenade. During combat, remove up to 4 attack or versatile cards in your discard pile from the game. Add +1 to this card's value for each card removed. And then add +1 to the value of your attacks for the rest of the game. And these passives do apply to both Donnie and Metalhead, so quite nice there. We're probably going to be boosting with Quick Strike. Honestly, having all of these in hand right at the start, you'd think it'd be nice, but honestly it's kind of annoying because I don't have enough cards to fuel them yet. I'm also not missing health, so the heal doesn't matter. And it's cutting down my options for what to put on the bottom, because basically I don't want to put any of these on the bottom, and I'm wanting to boost with this, so it has to be one of these. So I guess it is probably going to be Short Circuit. Yeah. We'll do Short Circuit. It's fine. And then I would like to boost with Quick Strike. We'll designate Metalhead as removing foot soldiers. 1, 2, 3. Get rid of those 2. And then we'll go... I think we'll go there with Donnie. I will say though, once this is online, like something like Quick Strike or Bow Staff, like this is already solid. And this is fine, but like this becomes a 4-block. This becomes Exploit, 4-block draw card. And if you have this on, it can be used on offense as well. And then this becomes a 4-value draw card, deal a damage to an adjacent fighter. That's okay. Yeah, I mean, obviously it makes sense that when you have +1 buffs on everything, it's gonna make cards pretty good on average. Cool. So I think that's it for Donnie. Keep reaching over that henchman deck. It's not the one I draw from. All right, Leo. Leo is up, so we can move any one fighter. Oh, okay. Again, first time playing any of these characters, still learning stuff. I think I like that we cleared with Metalhead because now it's going to be easy for Casey or Raph to mop up the rest of these guys over here. But something that we could have done is we could have done the attack with Metalhead on Wingnut, and since we knew Leo was going to go after, then move Wingnut or Metalhead away, so this doesn't kick in, but it's fine. Still learning all those little tricks with these characters. I think we're gonna move Rat King so we can clear these here. And then honestly that lets us go here and smack into Rat King with Leo, which is probably not bad. I will need to boost if I want to get rid of both. Might not need to, just because we haven't seen the other Shredder card. There's one more Shredder card that puts dudes down, and they're probably going to do it in here. Although I think if he doesn't have enough space, he overflows. And this is actually the one burrow that only has 4 spots. I guess Manhattan only has 4 spots as well. But basically, if we don't clear both of these, it's going to overflow into another burrow, and that's a problem. But yes, I do think I really want to clear both. It means that we're going to have to boost, most likely. However, we can draw and see what we get first. Another Fearless Leader. Am I really going to boost with one of those? It's either that or Heroes and a Half Shell, but I don't know, man. Heroes and a Half Shell is a bigger boost, so I can use that for turtle power later, theoretically. It's also just a really good block. I mean, Fearless Leader is very strong. Do I really want to ditch that? No. We do have 3 of them. We're going to use this to attack this turn. Quick Strike is like fine, but it's the only block Splinter has right now. And I did take a hit with him, so I don't want to keep him completely defenseless. Definitely don't want to boost with that. I don't know. We're figuring stuff out still. Let's boost with one of these, because it's going to be a little bit before I'm like really setting that up. Because right now we're kind of spread out, dealing with minions, dealing with foot soldiers as they come up. So also saving a bigger boost for later, like one of these, is like when I need a bigger boost. I don't need a 3 boost right now, so it's a little bit of a waste to use a higher boost value card. So we're going to have Leo be the one to clear. We're going to go 1, 2, 3 with him, take out both of those. And then where does Splinter want to go? I don't hate putting him on this still. Gives us options later. Okay. And then we're going to attack Rat King with Wise Beyond His Years. He defended by more than a nibble. Oh boy. Oh geez. Oh good lord. Oh my god. Okay, that is a card that, okay. That's good to know about now. So unlike some of the other, I mean, Blob can kind of vomit out a bunch of acid at once, but usually the tokens are a little bit more steady of a pace. But all right, so it's going to be 1 damage to Rat King, down to 9. And then we're going to be putting 1 on everyone's space. Well, knowing that he can put them out like so quickly like that, good to know, because it does mean that the swap is going to be online quicker because you're going to run out of tokens. Yeah, just check the rule book, and it's same thing where if they don't have any left in the supply, they just don't place one. So because you don't place one, I would interpret that means that the swap does happen. So yeah. Okay, cool, good to know for future. And then the after combat here will go off and deal 2 more, down to 7 for Rat King. So we got a good hit there, but at what cost? Fortunately, the only enemy that hasn't gone yet is Bebop and Rocksteady. But that will mean that Donnie's getting hit pretty well. I wasn't going to block for Donnie anyway, so actually this ends up working out all right. We just would really like to not have a bunch of enemies go first next turn. That's a nasty card. All right. That is it for Leo. Player 2, so Raph is up. And Raph could go and disrupt Bebop and Rocksteady now if he wants. It would also get him off of the rat that he's on. Alright, what do we have for Raph? Well, first we'll look at the ability card. Anger Issues. On each of your turns, the first time you lose combat, gain 1 action. Pretty simple, but very nice ability. We'll see a lot of cards in his deck that synergize with that. Speaking of cards in hand, we've got Batter Up, which is a 3-value Casey attack. After combat, if you won the combat, move the opposing fighter up to 3 spaces. Not like amazing. You're usually not winning with 3s as often. That being said, If you lose with it, and it's the first time you lose, you gain an action. If you win, because they blocked low, maybe trying to prevent your action gain, etc., you get to move. So quite nice overall. Got 2 copies of that in hand right now. This is another really cool one that synergizes with the ability. It's a 1 that has an after combat draw card. If you won the combat, draw 2 instead. So again, if they take the attack because they're like, oh, don't want you to gain your action, maybe you're attacking small, this draws you 2 cards. So otherwise it's draw a card, gain an action, it's a 1 value attack. It's basically Fake Out from Widow, whereas if they block it, it's a 1 and you gain a action draw card. So a very solid card in that deck, and there's 3 of them here, so cool synergy piece. We got Relentless, which is a 3 value versatile. Any, so either one can play it, which is nice. And then after combat, shuffle this card into your deck, then draw 1 card. So unless it gets canceled, it's going to keep going, recycling. If you lose with it on offense, then you are also gaining an action, so pretty nice there. 2 copies in the deck gives you some cool options. And then here's an half shell, the 5, just like the one that we saw in Leo's hand, which I'll show for comparison. But yeah, as you can see, similar vibes, but different art based on the style and the artist, so cool to see that. What do we want to do here? So I'd like to clear out both these foot soldiers. I think we're going to boost with one of the Casey cards since we have 2 of them. And then I guess we'll go up and smack Bebop and Rocksteady, maybe with the Let's Do This, see where we go from there. So let's go ahead and maneuver. Got another Let's Do This. And then we'll boost, could boost with one of those now, but I think I still like boosting with the Casey card. So we'll boost with Better Up. I think I'll have Raph be the one to remove tokens. We'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. Get rid of those. And then honestly, Casey could run Interference, because he has Relentless to block with. So if Casey runs Interference, he can kind of mitigate some of the downside we're going to have for the -2s currently. So let's, 1, 2, 3, let's have him go over here and block off Donnie. Because we actually don't have too many blocks for Donnie right now. I mean, the only one we have in hand is a 3 that would become a 2 or a 1 with that -2, so don't love that. So yeah, we'll send Casey over there, and then we will have Raph attack Bebop and Rocksteady with this. And honestly, I wouldn't hate if this was a deception that let us draw 2 and we don't gain the action, because we don't have great follow-up unless the card we top deck is really good. Alright, it's not going to be the deception. It's going to be Let's Get Those Green Dweebs. Great card name. 3 value defense. After combat, if Bebop and Rocksteady are in the villain's zone, deal 2 damage to each hero and sidekick in Bebop and Rocksteady's zone. Holy cow! That is a potent effect. Good one to keep in mind. They are not currently in the zone of Shredder, so that will not apply. And we will deal no damage, but we will draw a card, and since we lost the combat for the first time this turn, we will also gain an action. Let's see what we draw. Sigh. Well, this is a common card now. Not a big surprise. Fits very well with the character, of course, but this was in Elektra's deck and is now a common card. Just a blank 4, but hey, can't complain too much. Now we could just smack with that. I mean, it's either that. I don't really want to use another one of these because I like using this in future to get the anger issues trigger. Yeah, screw it. We'll smack them. Say your prayers, Toidles. These guys' card names are fantastic. The very nice part is that they are not in Shredder's zone, so it's not going to be a 5. That's what their Daring Combat would have done, because they did not start this turn in the villain zone, so it's going to be 2 damage. I will not be too upset about that. Get some nice chip in. And then that'll be that, because no extra effects on size. So, decent first turn. Cleared out one of the burrows. Did a little bit of damage to a minion. Hey, and there they are. Bebop and Rocksteady. There's so many initiative cards in here. I'm running out of room. And that's after removing Baxter's from him dying. Alright. Bebop and Rocksteady are up. So, they are going to smack Raph. Do we want to block with R5 or nah? I don't really think so. We're at full health. We have 17. They're not in the villain zone, so like that seems like most of their effects are more potent when they are, so I'd rather save a big block for future, because like that one that they just blocked with would be a 5 if they were in Shredder's zone. And their end of round is if they're in the same zone as the villain, they heal the villain 1 health, otherwise place them in the same zone as the villain. So they're going to move back to Shredder's zone next turn, or at the end of the round. Yeah, I think I can take this. We've got Protective Father to get some healing, but 17 health, lots of remaining, so we will not block. Oh boy, it is a 4. Take that, Shell Brain. It's going to be 4 damage down to 13. And then place them in the villain zone. Okay. So they also have a warp on one of their cards. Good to know. Makes sense to put them over here. Oh, actually no, because they're gonna be placed again. Oh no, because they're gonna be in the zone, so they'll try to heal. Shredder hasn't taken any damage, so it won't do anything. That's fine. Okay, yeah, we'll put them there. And then Shredder to the streets. Each player deploys 1 foot soldier to Shredder's burrow. So that is just gonna be all 4 spaces. And that is the end of the round, so now we will do all of these various effects. And I'm realizing now that I am dumb and should have kept Splinter here. Oh well. These only care if there's an ally to the right. This will advance by 1 plus the number of burrows, so 2. Since there's 1 burrow that has soldiers in it. Unfortunately, there's not a hero or sidekick on here, so this gets removed. And then this gets shuffled in with a new henchman, and then a new ally gets revealed. Karai. Space 2, which is up here. Deal 1 damage to the villain if they are adjacent to a hero. Okay, it's fine. Wingnut is not next to anyone. Rat King, we'll put a rat in this space. Bebop and Rocksteady, try to heal the villain, doesn't matter. And then that will be the end of the round, so Henchman is in here. Yep, there's a lot going on. So I did forget about the being in this spot. If I just put Splinter there, yeah, there was no reason, really. I mean, my thinking was I wanted him to be able to get around more places and also potentially take aggro from enemies if need be. But yeah, no, I should have definitely just put him there. We planned around it, and then I just forgot because there was a lot going on. So no ally. We don't get the duck. Try to remember this time around. Although I definitely think this ally is nowhere near as good as the previous one that we could have had. First round went fine. Got some chip damage on the minions. Killed one of the minions, so that's always nice on the first round. There's a little bit of worry about some of the positioning here as far as the rat tokens goes, but hopefully we can get around that. Alright, Raph is up again, basically taking back-to-back turns almost. Probably just want to do something similar to last time. So let's go ahead and maneuver. Ooh, break something. Immediately cancel all during and after combat effects on your opponent's card. Then after combat, if no effects were cancelled this way, deal 2 damage to an adjacent opposing fighter. So it's either effectively a feint. It doesn't stop immediately effects, but most effects are going to be during or after combat on cards. And then if it doesn't happen to cancel anything, then it does some damage. So that's nice. Kind of just want to go for Bebop and Rocksteady again. If we get that Bebop and Rocksteady card that does damage to everyone in their zone, it'll hit Splinter, but he's fine still. Let's send Raph over here. And actually, let's go ahead and send Casey here, because potentially lets us follow up into Wingnut if we want. Let's go ahead and attack with Let's Do This into Bebop and Rocksteady. Alright, that is going to be a 5 since they are in Shredder's zone, but fortunately for us we were attacking with 1. So that'll be no damage, but we will draw a card, gain an action. Another Let's Do This. It's not exactly what I want here. I think at this point I might just attack with Casey onto Wingnut with Batter Up. and go from there. Might be able to push him away. Well, looks like we might be able to. So Supersonic, it's going to be a 2-value block, so we do 1 damage down to 8 for Wingnut. And then after combat, place Wingnut on the highest numbered empty starting space. Then if Wingnut won the combat, place the opposing fighter adjacent. So fortunately, did not win the combat. Highest numbered empty starting space. I actually think that is here, because if I'm recalling correctly, there's a difference between empty and unoccupied. Empty means that it can't have anything in it, period, including tokens. I'd have to look in the rules archive to double check. I know there's a difference in the wording. I don't think it really matters too much here because we do get to move him afterwards as well. I don't think it'll matter because I think I want him to be in the center anyway. And whether he was here or here, I'd be able to move him there with the 3 movements. So we'll put him there. I do not go adjacent because he did not win, of course. And then that will be it because we maneuvered, attacked, gained the action, and then used that to attack over here. So that'll be it for Raph. Villain recovers 1 health, still hasn't taken any damage, so it does not matter. Friends in odd places, so this will trigger before any of the movement shenanigans, so that's good to know. So as long as we end someone there, we'll be fine. Shredder. Okay, I honestly don't mind that because getting him out of the way is not going to be too bad here. Yeah, I think I want to get the cards back in deck, so we'll have him go here. Attack April. Dishonorable Orokusaki. Immediately cancel all effects on the opponent's card. Oh, come on. Well, that's rough. Okay, well, don't take any damage, which I guess is silver lining. Then during combat, if there are 3 or more foot soldiers and Shredder's burrow, ignore the value of the opponent's card. Okay, well, we don't have that, so it could have been worse. That is annoying, though, because I did not get to get some of my cards back. And I have some really good cards in Mikey's discard pile. I still have the other, the scheme that's going to let me do that on Mikey's turn, but that is... Well, it's good to know that he's got the cancel here. So he's got 2 of those, so... And it can be an ignore if the conditions are right. Alright, well, jerk. That's what I say about you, Shredder. Alright, Donatello. We want to get Donnie off of the -2 there. So let's go ahead and maneuver. Maybe set something out for the enhancements as well. Holy cow. Okay, so we got another shift focus, but then we got this scheme. Donatello does machines. It's a boost 3, which is nice. It would set up that versatile for Metalhead, but we're not going to put this on the bottom. You and each other friendly player may return an attack, versatile, or defense card and their discard pile to their hand. Draw a card. That is nuts in this mode, especially because we lost some good cards earlier to that Baxter card. I think we're probably just bottoming another shift focus. Again, it's fine, but I think everything else we've got is better. And then, do we want to go in with a 5? Probably. Who do we want to hit with it is the question. Wingnut is more annoying. Rat King is potentially more dangerous from what we've seen so far, but we also know Rat King has a cancel and is on a rat token, so there might be other effects that trigger off of that we haven't seen yet. So probably going for Wingnut. Wingnut also hasn't gone yet, so he's going to end up adjacent to someone at the moment. If Leo goes after Wingnut, we could always move him or the other person away so they don't have bad things happen. We also do want someone to end up on the 2 spot up there, so I think we're going to send Metalhead here, and then Donnie is going to go get the ally. We actually are remembering that this time. Could play that scheme, but I think we just want to smack with Metalhead. We still have a block for Metalhead as well, although we might just take an attack from Wingnut since we're at full health. Alright, attack with untested enhancements. Into Wingnut. Another supersonic. So, this is going to do, well, discard the bottom card of the deck, which we know is one of the shift focuses. So it's going to be a 5/2, so 3 damage to Wingnut down to 5. And then now that he's in this spot, the highest numbered empty is going to be over here. And we will not get warped because we won the combat. And now we do have a bunch of versatiles in for our inventions. Okay, I think that's everything for done. Player 1, that is Leo. So he's not going to go after Wingnut, so Wingnut might be getting his annoying thing off this turn. As a result, let's go ahead and move Splinter with our ability, and then we'll maneuver. Leonardo leaves, move each friendly fighter up to 3 spaces, draw a card. It's very nice for co-op, obviously. That gives us a lot of positioning options, actually. It's like a one-sided command the storms. It's also 4 boost, which for turtle power makes it a 7, so it's good for that as well. But I think in co-op you want to try to get the value from the movement most of the time. I think I'm gonna designate Splinter to be the one to remove this maneuver. We'll go 1, 2 with Leo. Go here with Splinter. Get rid of those. Imagine if you could remove these with just any movement. This scheme would be the best way to remove foot soldiers like crazy. And then, yeah, I think we're just going to maneuver again, have this be a setup turn, clearing out some, well, speaking of the scheme, clear out some dudes. I'd like to remove both, but I need to boost. Oh man, I have a lot of good cards I don't really want to be boosting with here. It's just, I really don't want to leave one foot soldier here. It's just so bad because it's a whole extra. Like, in theory, if we keep him at 1 burrow every turn, it's going to take him 1, 2, 3, 4 rounds to advance. So if we can keep him at 1 burrow at most, like obviously having all of them clear, like if we have the turn sequence lineup where we can clear all of the foot soldiers each turn, then, you know, he'd only be advancing by 1. But I think it's more realistic to expect one of the burrows to have foot soldiers on it. I think I have to boost, and I think I have to get rid of one of these. Honestly, it pains me, but I think the other stuff is just better. It's either that or like Heroes in a Half Shell, but I think I want a big block, and I don't want to get rid of any of the other cards. So yeah, I have 2 of them, so I don't need both at the moment. Does mean my turtle power gets worse later, but I've also seen a lot of 3 boosts in Leo's deck, so we'll definitely get rid of those with him. He has 3 more movement, so honestly, we can set up for a big fearless leader maybe on Bebop and Rocksteady. And I think I want Splinter back on the sewers there. Alright. Not going to be the most exciting turn overall, just because we're mostly still... Like, this was a cleanup, setup turn type deal for most of the fighters. Alright, Rat King is going to go there for Metalhead. Do I want to block? Not really. And I guess if it's the other more than a nibble, I would stop a bunch of rat tokens from being thrown out there, but we're already on 2. Yeah, I don't think I want to block, because we're not on a rat. Oh, thank goodness. It feels so good when you don't block a deception. Alright, cool. That worked out wonderfully. Next up is the new Henchmen. 1 player discards the top card of their deck. It's just Donnie. Because we want cards in discard for all the inventions. Thinking ahead. After combat, if you won the combat, you may put a card in your discard pile on the bottom of your deck. Well, that is an annoying one to lose, but there's 3 copies, so we got more of those. We can also get it back if we want with that scheme from Donnie, so not the worst. Bebop and Rocksteady. Okay, they're not in Shredder Zone, so they're going to be less effective overall. We could block with Raph, we could block with Leo. Could also take it. If we take it, I think it'd be on Leo. They've got 3 cards left. What's left in there? So we got 2 4s and the Deception. Interestingly, if we do break something with Raph, if they do the 4 that warps them to Shredder Zone, it'll stop that. Now, we don't really care because they're going to end of round warp anyway if we stop the one from the attack. But if it's Deception or the other 4, which is just the blank 4 on offense, we would be dealing 2 damage to them. Break Something is likely to block damage and deal back damage. 2 and 3? Sure, why not? I just wanted to get them down some health. And while this would be good against Shredder, because he has some nasty effects, we have other cancels and stuff, so I think I like doing this. Hey, and it is indeed the dweebs, so blank 4 to 2, so 2 damage to Raph. It's fine, we'll probably be using the Splinter Scheme to heal him. And then 2 damage back to Bebop and Rocksteady, since there were no effects cancelled. Down to 6 for them. Alright. Then, Wingnut. He's gonna go for Casey. Or Splinter. Honestly, if we're gonna have someone get discarded, I think I'd prefer it be Raph, because we don't have great cards in hand for Raph right now, and we actually have really good cards for Leo. So yeah, we'll send him over to Casey, and we'll block with Relentless. And it's just gonna be the blank 2, so no damage, and then this gets shuffled into the deck, and we draw a card. Payback time. If you lost a combat this turn, this card's value is 5 instead. Love the art, first of all. Raph is a very strong contention for my favorite art. Like it's very close between him and Donnie, I think. No damage, and that is end of Wingnut's turn. Shredder to the streets. Okay, so we could potentially clear some stuff with Mikey, which is good. 2, 3, 4. If we do just do a setup turn for Mikey, Rat King's actually preventing that. Maybe I should have put I should have definitely put Rat King there. I wanted him closer so we could like gang up on him, because this is quite a bit further from all these over here, but if I should have considered this going before Mikey and letting us clear some stuff. Oh well. Alright, speaking of Mikey, I think it's him and the other henchman. So yeah, there's the henchman. 1 damage to a hero, Donnie, since he's got, well, do Leo. Oh wait, no, Donnie has the defense that heals. We'll definitely do it to Donnie, because we want to play that at some point to buff our future defenses. And then player 4, so that's going to be Mikey. I think we're definitely maneuvering, because we only have shell insertion, and if we play that raw, we can't do the action gain, which I think is one of the ones we usually want to do with this. So let's maneuver. Got a boisterous beatdown. I think I just want to set up for next turn. Let's have Mikey be the one to clear on this maneuver. We'll go 1, 2, clear this. We'll put April here, and then we'll maneuver again. Okay, we got heroes in a half shell. I think he might have my favorite heroes in a half shell art. Just love him with the pizza there. And then we'll have April clear for this maneuver. Go here and here. Okay, and then that will be end of round, so no ally here, of course, because we still don't have any. However, now we are going to recruit the ally since we are in 2, so this will get shuffled in on the next go around, and we reveal a new ally. Mona Lisa, the lizard. Love that. Is she like an astronaut? I don't know much about like TMNT stuff, in all fairness, so like a lot of the side stuff I know, you know, the general basic stuff, but some of the minions and some of the allies and henchmen I'm not going to be as familiar with, since they are probably more obscure characters in general. So this one is a hero sidekick, may recover 1 health. Very solid. Definitely want to try to get that. She is up here, so I'll want to try to get that one if possible. Shredder has 1+1 burrow, so it goes up to there. Rat King is going to put another rat down. That one does not have an ally. That one does not have an ally. Bebop and Rocksteady are gonna go somewhere in purple. I mean, we could just put them like right here and try to wombo combo them with Leo's stuff. It also lets Mikey maybe smack into him. And actually, if Leo goes first, he can move April here and then slam into them for 7. Yeah, that seems good actually. Wingnut is gonna swap with Casey. Casey takes 1. And then discards a random card. Oh, sorry. I thought it was just 1 damage. It's the boost value of the discarded card. So we are going to discard one of these. What do we have? We have a 1, a 2, and a 3. Okay. So 3 is the most he can take here. The rough part is... Actually, I think the 1 boost is what we want, because that's probably our worst card. Well, actually... Our worst card is probably our 5 block, so that would do 2 damage. So let's see. Middle. Ugh. Let's do this as rough because that's 3 damage to Casey. And also that was our enabler to lose a combat, gain an action, and then hit with a 5. So, don't like that. And then that's everything. So, new round. So many cards. It's like Martian, but like it's like 4-player Martian, but even more cards than that. Because normally you have the 4 minions, the Martian, all 4-player cards, as well as the 4 invasion cards. But this one we have, I mean, especially now that we've added an ally. Between the allies and henchmen, we have 1 ally, 3 henchmen, and then we have 3 minions still. We have the villain, we have all 4-player cards, we have the card that has us checked for the recruiting allies, and we have the extra shredder card spawning foot soldiers. So it's a chunky initiative deck. Man, this guy really loves coming out first, and I'm fine with that because Shredder still hasn't taken damage, so he's still not benefiting from that. Okay, that's gonna put a bunch of foot soldiers out. But he's actually not going to overflow this burrow still, because this is one that has space for 5. We do really need to clear those, though. Wingnut. Alright, I think we're just going to take this. Oh boy, Casey. Casey down to 1. He's still alive, though. After combat, the opposing fighter swaps spaces with the hero with the lowest health. What the hell? Well, that's Raph, so... fitting, I guess? He's all just about disrupting and positioning and chaos and stuff. That's cool. I like that minion design. Alright, Raph is up. Well, now we're probably using Protective Father on Casey, because I don't want him to die. The rough part here is we lost our card that would let payback time be a big hit. Let's maneuver, because we're not just slamming a blank 2 into Wingnut. Ooh, okay. Break something is nice. What does Wingnut have left? He's got 2 cards. Okay, so it's just the other copy of the dive bomb he just played and Deception. So break something would do 4 into Deception, which is quite strong, obviously. Okay, actually we have... Wow, that's actually really good. Okay, so here's what I'm looking at. So we attack with Break Something. If he blocks with Deception, we do 2 with the combat damage, and then 2 after combat since no effects were cancelled. If he blocks with the Dive Bomb, then we canceled the swap. Not that it would do anything anyway, because we're the hero with the lowest health, so we can't swap with ourselves. But it won't do the 2 damage, but it'll do no damage, and since we lost the combat, we'll gain an action. And then we can attack with this, which is a 5, into a guaranteed Deception and kill. So honestly, we do want Dive Bomb to be the top card, but if it is Deception, it's not the end of the world, because we'll put him down to 1 health at least. And then actually, if Donnie goes, he can have someone run over Wingnut with the van, and we're good. So let's go ahead and attack with Break Something. We ideally want Dive Bomb here. Wonderful. So immediately cancel all during and after combat effects. 2/2, no damage. After combat effects were canceled, so no damage there, but we lost, so Anger Issues will trigger and give us an action. And then with that action, we will attack with Payback Time, which is a 5, into Wingnut's Deception, which will be 5, exactly, taking him down to 0 and defeating. Also particularly nice because now we don't have to worry about him doing all his random discard nonsense. Alright, cool. That was a very good turn. And actually, the funniest part about that is this is a Raph card, so we would not have been able to attack with this with Casey. So Wingnut swapping us with each other actually guaranteed his own demise, which seems fitting for a minion. So alright, that'll be that. Bebop and Rocksteady. Do we want them attacking Leo or Mikey? Well, they both have heroes and a half shell, so I think one of them is blocking with that, because it's either a 4 or a deception, and I don't think I want to just take a 4 to the chin, so hey, worst case scenario, we waste a 5 block. Mikey wants to bottom his heroes and a half shell to gain an action with the April scheme, so yeah, we'll have them attack Leo. It's a 50-50. We got unlucky. They got us. But it is what it is. I'm hoping to just kill them this turn cycle. So that's why I didn't mind using the block now, because it is very good against, like, pretty much all of their attacks are 4s. So it is a very good block against them in general, but considering I want to have them dead before they get another go, I think guaranteeing that we don't take a big 4 hit right now is fine. Alright. Shredder. Well, he's going for April. She has nothing to block with. Hopefully he doesn't hit that hard. Oh god. Well, that's an 8. She's dead. Unfortunate. That's real rough in a lot of ways. Not only does that completely screw up Mikey's turn, but now we can't get the big hit, or as big of a hit on Bebop and Rocksteady with Leo either. Alright, well noted. Had not seen that one yet from Shredder, so definitely would have positioned people a little bit differently. Rip April. Alright. Oh, and that's like the ultimate insult. The fact that the literal next player turn, and not even just the next player turn, the next turn is Mikey. Alright. Well, we really wanted Leo to go first because he could have moved some stuff in a way that would have been advantageous. Oh, sorry, I also forgot we need to put a soldier somewhere. Okay, so it's the next highest numbered starting space, so Manhattan will be where this has to go. I guess just here so Metalhead can clear it out. Okay. We were going to have a great turn where we started with shell insertion, bottom this to gain an action, put these 2 back, shuffle, draw. Would have been fantastic, do some boisterous beatdown, but we let April die, so that's on us. Don't think I want to just start attacking here, so we'll maneuver. Michelangelo is a party dude. Each friendly fighter recovers 1 health. Well, sorry April, it doesn't apply to you. That is very nice though. We will go here, remove this. I might just play that. I'm gonna overdraw, but I'll just ditch the April scheme. It's currently healing everyone except Metalhead, so that's a lot of value. Yeah, we'll play that because I don't really want to just attack blindly with the beatdown into them, because they have a lot of good effects that it wouldn't do anything with, or it wouldn't be effective against. In fact, there's one card in particular that would just be actively terrible for us here. So yeah, we'll do that. Heal everyone for 1, so 1 up to 14, up to 7, up to 16, 12 for Raph, and 2 for Casey. And then we will draw a card. Of course. Hard-hitting investigation. After combat, deal 1 damage to the opposing fighter, gain 1 action. In 1v1s and stuff, when you're playing against other players, you can bait out a block from them. You still deal a damage, gain an action. So it's kind of like Widow's card in that way. However, you're still getting damage through instead of just drawing a card and gaining an action. If they take it, cool. But yeah, we've seen at least a couple other any cards. So like you could be attacking with one of the 3s is April. So if they're like, oh, well, I won't block because it's going to be the April 0, you could be hitting with a Let's Go or a Guaranteed Delivery and dealing 3 undefended. So you got some mind games with that card. We're just going to discard it because we're discarding one of the April cards at to hand limit at the end of the turn, and they're both boost 3, so it doesn't really matter which one we do. This is also really good with Cowabunga because it's just more action gain and card draw to keep your stuff chaining. Unfortunately, we are not going to be able to do that this game. However, we've now opened this spot up for Casey to maybe get in here and let Leo hit really hard into Bebop and Rocksteady. Okay. Friends in odd places. Okay, good to know. Oh, we'll get Wingnut out of here because he's gone. Alright. Ooh. No one is adjacent to the villain, so nothing there. That's fine. Leo. Okay. So my only problem with putting Casey here is it does open him up to 2 potential minions. That being said, we can have either of these be attacked by Bebop and Rocksteady, and then Rat King can go for Metalhead, so that's fine. We'll move Casey in to get a big swing with our Fearless Leader. We could actually then swap him out with Protective Father, and then Splinter would be the one in the thick of things, which would be nice, and Casey would go up to 4 HP, which is a lot better of a spot. I mean, we also have Leonardo leads, so we could move everyone around. We could... Is there a way that we can do Leonardo leads to make this actually just gigantic Fearless Leader? Let's see, we could move Donnie in here, we could move Casey around the sides, so that would give us 1 more, so it would be a 9 instead of a 7. That's pretty good, actually. I was going to say we could, instead of, if we're planning to do that, because we have the cards for it that we need, we could just move Shredder out of the zone. It does a couple things. It unfortunately doesn't protect us against the 5 for Bebop and Rocksteady, because it's if they started the turn in the zone, which they did since I'm moving them out as part of the turn. But if we put Shredder here, it means if they draw that 1 card that does damage to everyone in their zone, if they are in the villain zone, we're not running into that card, which is for the best. Because then we can still move everyone into position, right? Oh no, we can't actually get Casey around the side. Okay, so I think what we're going to do is we're going to play Leonardo leads. We're going to move with the start of turn ability, then play Leonardo leads. We're going to put Casey back there. We're going to put Splinter here. We're going to move Donnie here. We're going to move Metalhead here. Wrath will go back there. That'll be it for the card itself, and then we draw a card. Okay, we got Turtle Power. So obviously the boostable 3. Would have been nice with one of those, but yeah, we've used both of them, that's fine. Then we're going to Protective Father Splinter with Casey, because now if they draw that card that deals 2 to everyone in their zone, Casey doesn't just drop dead. Heal 2 Casey, heal 2 Splinter. And then that gains an action, so with the last action of the turn we will attack Bebop and Rocksteady with Fearless Leader, and it's going to be a 9. So even if they draw the card that is a 5 if they're in the villain zone, they'll be down to 2, and then Donnie's scheme can finish him off on his turn, so I think we have them all wrapped up here. And that's if it's the 5. I think they die if they block with anything else. So the worst one that they can get while also dying is the one that deals 2 to everyone in the zone, which would be annoying, but everyone's pretty healthy at this point. And honestly, Donnie wants to be taking some damage anyway, so he can heal it back. Yeah, so take that, Shellbrain. So this is the one that would place him in the zone, or in the villain zone. It's just a blank 2 effectively, so that's going to be 7 damage. Since this is a 3 plus 2, 4, 6. Yep, so 7 damage, down to 0. Bebop and Rocksteady are out of here. Alright, that worked about as well as we could have hoped. yeah, Leo just has so many cool cards for co-op, like being able to do stuff like that, really fun. Alright. Only have 1 minion left, so that's always a good spot to be in. 3, that is Donnie. Let's get these inventions going. We'll play Smoke Bomb. No schemes to remove, so we're just going to use this to get the tuck effect. So now, whenever we play a scheme, we gain an action. And speaking of, we are going to probably play both of our schemes, honestly. And then we can decide whether we want to attack or we want to maneuver and clear this out. I mean, clearing this out would be really good, so we'll probably lean towards that, but let's start with the Donatello Does Machines, and we will return, I think for Donnie we want to return, probably just thinking ahead, because it's going to be a 4 once we use the grenade, so that seems good. So return that for Donnie. For Mikey, Haya is probably our best just card in general. Boisterous Beatdown has like more action game potential, but I think that's just our strongest card right now to get back with this effect. Let's get back Break Something for Raph, and then Leo. We'll just get his blank 6 back, and then gain an action. Oh, and draw a card. So the card we drew is, hey, my reveal for Donnie. Feature of Ninjutsu. Look at the top card of any deck, you may put it on the bottom, draw a card, gain an action. So now we can attack here, and then we can also maneuver and clear out that foot soldier. Let's do that. And let's actually look at the top card of Rat King's deck. Oh, it is the cancel, so we can put that on the bottom, so we will draw a card, gain an action, which is gain 2 actions, so we net an action off of that. So we'll have 2 actions still this turn, and draw a card. Here is an half shell. There's Donnie's version there. I think I do want a Party Wagon just so I can get the 2 damage in. However, I think I want to maneuver first. It's funny if I put Shift Focus like on the bottom every single time. I think I'm going to though, because I still think it's the worst card in hand and has a decent boost for the enhancements we just drew. And then we'll clear this out. We'll move there. And then we'll Party Wagon. I was going to move Metalhead, but I guess I don't have to. I could move one of the other guys. I think we'll do that, and then 2 to Rat King. No, actually, I think we'll keep him there, because even though it's on a rat, I want him to just be able to bash the crap out of Rat King, if he's still alive. And then, yeah, I guess we will grenade. Hopefully not hit the other cancel. Oh boy. So initially, it would have been the cancel, which would have just done, we still would have tucked this, but no damage. Now it's Deception, which is the literal best case scenario. So we just have to remove 3 cards to kill here, since he's at 5. We'll remove Shift Focus, Short Circuit, and Quick Strike, I suppose. So remove those 3 versatile cards from the game, and then increase this by 3, so it's going to be 5-0. Rat King takes 5 and goes down. And actually hadn't gotten a turn yet, so skip his turn this phase, which is nice. The rats do still stay out, but no more can be placed down, though there were only 2 left in the supply. So we also tuck that and get +1 to our attack values now. And I do believe that is the turn. There's the Rat King. Goodbye. I guess we'll do Donnie again. Quick Strike, okay, it's fine. And then 1 damage to a hero, we'll do Donnie because he still hasn't used his defense grid or whatever it was called. Alright, end of round. Shredder is going to advance by 2 since there's just 1 burrow with foot soldiers. We do have Casey on 3, so we will add Mona Lisa to the deck, and that's it. Alright, starting to thin down the deck a little bit just because we don't have any of the minions left. Oh, and the new ally is the neutrinos. Each player may draw a card. Wow, that one seems incredible. Starting space 1 is where we need to be for that. And it's the first thing to resolve at the end of round, so I don't think we have anything that like messes with the movement now that the minions are gone, but I guess Shredder might have something in his deck that we haven't seen yet. Still doesn't matter for the healing, although it will start soon because now we're going to start beating up on him. Player 2, that is Raph. Raph only has a couple cards in hand, so, and we're far away from Shredder, so this is probably just a double maneuver type turn. We've got our turtle power. Don't have a good boost for it yet, but that's fine. 2, and then maneuver again. Ooh, crowd control. This was the art that was on some of the little postcard advertisement things that they were giving out at conventions and stuff. I still have some. Really love the art on this. So crowd control, after combat, draw 1 card for each adjacent opposing fighter and deal 1 damage to each of those fighters. Not going to be as good now that we're just down to Shredder alone, but you know, you get in there and just scrap it up with a bunch of the minions and you can get some really good effectiveness out of this card. We just want to set up to start beating up on him next turn. And we're moving Casey here for sure. I guess we'll just keep him there for now. Alright. Hero or sidekick may recover 1 health. We'll give that to Raph, back to 13. I really did not want to see that one first. It's not the biggest deal though, because at least it's early in the round. So we're going to put 1 here. And then the other 3 are going to overflow to Manhattan. Since all the minions are gone, it's not too hard to like actually clear stuff now. Mikey. We'll maneuver. Another April card. We're going to boost with one of the April cards. And go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Remove 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we will attack Shredder with Hiya. It's the cancel. Fortunately, because we went through and cleared a bunch of those guys out of his burrow, it will not ignore, so that's good at least. That is preventing a lot of damage though, because, well, it's preventing 1 damage, but it's preventing the action gain, which was hoping to turn into more damage. So it'll be 2, yeah, it'll be 2 damage, so Shredder down to 33. Both cancels are gone though, so until he reshuffles, we won't have to worry about that. And then we draw a card. It's the Let's Go, which is move a friendly fighter up to 3 spaces. And then we are at the end of the turn, since we do not get to bottom a card to gain an action, since he canceled us. So, I mean, it's probably the April card. It is a big boost, so like I do like being able to boost around like crazy and clear a bunch of foot soldiers, but I think it's probably still the April card. And we'll end there. Leo. So we're not going to be able to get rid of this one because of how I've positioned, but that's fine. I think we'll move Metalhead up here so he can clear both these on Donnie's turn. Yeah, because Donnie is the only one that hasn't gone yet. Let's maneuver. Other heroes in a half shell. Nothing that Shredder can really smack with. I want to set up Leo to be going in with his big 6 next turn, especially since the ignore is gone for Shredder, but it's not relevant now. We'll put Splinter on the outskirts again, and then we'll maneuver. 4 Sensei, 4 value, attack. After combat, move both fighters into combat up to 1 space each. You may discard 1 card to gain an action. Okay. So 4 that can potentially gain an action costs an extra card, so I feel like that won't be used super often, since you're gonna have to be in a spot where like you think you can get a really good attack in. The moving one space each is nice though, especially because there's those effects that Leo has that he wants to be in more zones than the opponent. So you like if you're standing like, you know, here and here, you could attack with this and then move each of you one, and now you're online for that card that cares about being in more zones. We'll go 1, 2, just to get rid of this. And I think that's it for Leo. I think Donnie, well, at this point we have all the cards we need to enable. Oh no, we don't, do we? No, we could still use one more card to get the max value heal, but at this point I don't think that's going to be super relevant. I mean, Mikey could do it because he has cards that just aren't useful if he hits an April card, but we have seen like a good chunk of them. Let's do Mikey still. Guaranteed delivery, this is the one that can draw 2 if your hand is empty. Bottom to do a cancel. Would have been fine, but I don't mind losing it all that much. Hey, deal 1 damage to the villain if they're adjacent to a hero. He is, so Shredder down to 32. Oh, and these are going to clear each other, which actually I don't mind because this is like, it's fine, but it's not amazing. This one's quite annoying, so honestly those two clearing each other is going to be ideal for us. Also, I didn't mention it earlier, but honestly these not clearing each other is pretty solid because I don't mind this one that much, even though it is online now. But this one is really nice for us, so. Okay, player 3, that is Donnie's up. Well, definitely maneuvering because we have to. Here's a half shell and another Donatello does machines. I think we're just going to bottom a half shell. And then Metalhead will clear out both of these. Donnie will... Did I want to boost with the other half shell and just attack Shredder? Yeah, I'm gonna boost with the other half shell. And we're gonna attack Shredder with the Thinking Head. Well, that's a new card. Blades all over. It's a 2-value defense. After combat, if Shredder's initiative card is revealed, put it on the bottom of the deck. Otherwise, deploy 1 foot soldier to Shredder's burrow, then deal 1 damage to each hero and sidekick adjacent to a foot soldier. Okay, so he has not taken a turn yet, so he is not going to get the extra turn, which is pretty good. That's potentially nasty. 2 damage. So it's a 4 to a 2 since we've got the +1 to our attacks. And then his after combat is going to deploy a foot soldier. I guess we'll do it somewhere that doesn't hurt us. So we'll go here, and then Donnie will take 1 since he's adjacent to a foot soldier, but that's fine. And then Donnie's card is going to get a card from his discard pile to the bottom of his deck. I'm going to get back another one of the Donatello Does Machines. That just seems like a really good card to have in the cycle. It's not one that we can remove for our heal, so it doesn't hurt that. And even if we don't like have a way to shuffle, we do cycle through the deck pretty quick with the maneuvers, obviously. Worst case scenario, even if we don't get it back to play it, we can make this a 6, which just seems good. So, and that was the second action since we maneuvered, so deal the damage to here. It's going to be Donnie again because I really want to get his thing active because I think I'm just going to block Shredder's attack with it. Shredder attacking, I will block with the self-defense grid. It's deception. Okay. That's fine though, because we are going to use self-defense grid. We can recycle stuff, so we got to keep that in mind. We've got 2 more of those, including 1 in hand, so I'm fine getting rid of 1 of those. Honestly, the blank 5 is just whatever. And then I think if I'm going to get back something, it's going to be Bow Staff over Quick Strike, so we'll remove these 3 from the game and heal 3. So even though we blocked Deception, we actually netted health off of it, which is Better than most times that you block a deception. He is reshuffling now, so he has cancels in his deck again, which is annoying, but whatever. And then now we have all of our inventions, so we get +1 to our attacks, +1 to our defenses, and we gain actions whenever we scheme. Shredder shuffles, and then end of round stuff. We are going to be getting the neutrinos. We are going to be removing these from the game. And then Shredder is going to advance by 2, since he still only has 1 burrow. So we cannot stop queens from falling this next round. But, I mean, honestly, we've done a pretty good job of keeping stuff clear. There also currently aren't any foot soldiers in queens, so there won't be any that become entrenched there. And he's currently not in queens, so as long as we can keep him out of queens, hopefully he will not be making ones that are really annoying for us to get rid of. It's felt like it hasn't been too bad to keep things clear, but you gotta keep in mind that if a burrow falls, any foot soldiers that are there and any future ones that get placed there cannot be removed. So as more burrows fall, this progressively ramps up in how much it advances every turn. So if you let things get out of hand, I can see it snowballing quite quickly. And then what do we have for our new ally? We got Muckman and Joe Eyeball. A player may shuffle a card from their discard pile into their deck. That's quite nice as well. I guess that's a way to shuffle stuff back here. And then new round is good to go. Michelangelo. Guess we just start swinging. Let's push our speed down, I suppose. Maybe next time, Turtles. This is actually kind of funny. So he's gonna not take any damage. He's gonna go here. And then put 2 down. Actually put them like this, I guess. Then we do gain an action and draw a card. Turtle power. Okay. Do we have a good boostable? Not particularly. Okay. We'll smack him with Let's Go. Unfortunately, his is a 3 because he has 2 foot soldiers in here. He's going to put 1 more down. No damage. Then move our friendly fighter up to 3 spaces. I think we want Leo to be closer. I guess here is a bit better. And we draw a card from ability. That's fine because we have a boostable. So let's turtle power. We just didn't want the cancel, so that's good. Blades all over is a 2. We are going to boost with that April card. So it's going to be a 6 to a 2, so 4 damage to Shredder. Down to 26. And then his initiative is not revealed, so he is going to put a dude out. All 4 of those are going to take a damage since they're adjacent to a foot soldier. So Raph takes 1, down to 12, Casey down to 3, Leo down to 15, and Mikey himself down to 12. But we're still fine. No extra turn for Shredder. These go to discard. Draw a card for Mikey, another Hiya. Can't do that this turn because we are out of actions, but could be nice next turn. And that'll be it for us. I'm not as worried about stuff filling up because this is advancing no matter what. And this is the one that we'd have to worry about becoming entrenched, so since there's nothing over there, it's not a big deal. However, we have a lot of people over here, so we can easily clear stuff out. I'm currently setting up Casey to try to clear out some stuff. Well, we are going to overflow into Manhattan, but Metalhead is there, so that's good. I didn't mention it earlier, but I can't wait till I have the Kickstarter components. This is just the early media copy I have, so all of the stuff that I got from the Kickstarters hasn't delivered yet, but I got all the stuff for I got the minis for the minions and sidekicks. I got all the deluxe tokens, including the little foot soldier minis that are kind of like the aliens for Martian. So I cannot wait to get those in and eventually play with the upgraded materials. But their tokens are always very serviceable, and the double-sided nature of them works well. Okay, so that was it for that. 1 damage to a hero. Leo's got the most, so he can go down to 14. Shredder. He's gonna go here. Could go for Raph or Casey. Gonna go for Raph because he has break something. Stop any potential nastiness that Shredder could do here. Would have been annoying. Blade's all over. His initiative card is revealed, so he would have put it back down. Fortunately, does not here. So I take 1 on Raph, down to 11. And then no extra effects. So not only did we stop him, well, this case we stopped him for getting an extra turn. He would not have done the deploy and deal of damage because he would have got the reshuffle. Stopping him from getting an extra turn is pretty nice. Mona Lisa, let's see. I'll just heal. Actually, let's do Casey just so he doesn't take like little chip damage over time. Villain recovers 1 health. Shredder back up to 27. These are going to clear each other this turn. Okay, Leo. I think we're going to push Casey out of the way so then we can maneuver and get in there. I actually think I want to boost and clear out some of these guys first, because Shredder's cancel is also an ignore if he has 3 foot soldiers in the zone or in the burrow. So I would rather not have my 6 get ignored. If it gets canceled, that's fine because it doesn't have any text on it anyway. So yeah, let's go ahead and boost with Heroes in a Half Shell. We can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Clear with Splinter instead of Leo. And then actually just go around this side with Leo. Yeah, and then we'll just hit him with the katana. Hoping for the cancel. Annoying, but it's all good because we're advancing no matter what. So it's going to be 3 damage to Shredder, so down to 24. And then he's going to go to, I guess, the Bronx because we don't want him to go to Queens. I'll put him there, I guess. Metalhead is just going to have some work cut out for him when it gets to Donnie's turn, but that's fine. Okay, and that'll be it for Leo. Ooh, Neutrinos. This one seems like the best one by far. Everyone draws a card. I got another Let's Go for Mikey. Got untested enhancements. Got a payback time for Raph. And a protective father for Leo. Yeah, that ally is nuts. Alright, there's the Friends in Odd Places. Raph is up. We'll maneuver. Got a Sigh. As weird as it is, I think I might want to boost with Turtle Power because I don't have anything great. Like, I can make it a 5, but I think I just have better stuff to do. So I'm going to boost with Turtle Power. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with Raph. Go there with Casey. And then I will attack Shredder with Raph. Okay, I actually did not mind if this was the cancel. It's like a little annoying because I would prefer to get like the draw and damage, but okay. And so no damage, and then I will not get the effect here, but I will gain an action. And with that, I'm gonna try payback time and hope to dodge the other cancel. 4 cards left, so we do dodge the other cancel. And that's a 3, so he's gonna take 2 down to 22. He's gonna put a dude in here, 2 up here, and then that'll be Raph. And last but not least, we've got Donnie. I think Metalhead is going to go on a foot soldier cleansing spree this turn. And we want Donnie to get the ally. So we'll do Donatello does machines. We will get back the thinking ahead. For Donnie, Mikey will get back, I think another Hayao makes sense. Raph, and I kind of like what we did before. Yeah, let's just get back break something. And then Leo will get back the katana again. Okay, and then we draw a card, which is another party wagon. So that was our first action, but it did not actually cost us an action because we gained one from the invention. So let's maneuver, draw 2. This nets us an action, so that's really good. Short circuit seems good, but we already have cancels on some other characters, so let's bottom short circuit. So let's move Donnie there. Let's move Metalhead here. Get rid of that. I was going to boost, but now that I have the Future of Ninjutsu, I have an extra action to work with, so I actually don't think I'll boost this one. Still have one action, so I guess for now we have to do the Future of Ninjutsu. Let's do that. I guess we'll look at Shredder's deck. It is Shredhead, so we know that that's on top. I think I'm going to keep it on top because I prefer that over the cancel, because if we can clear stuff out, we can either get a big hit or know that he's not hitting us very hard. Then we draw a card. It's going to be a quick strike. Then we gain an action plus an action here, so we have 2 actions now. I will maneuver, draw 2. Ooh, 2 turtle powers. I think we're just going to boost with those to start clearing some stuff out, honestly. Believe I'm going to bottom quick strike. And then we'll boost with a turtle power to have a total of 5. And we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Get rid of all these. Oh, this is perfect. And then we'll keep Donnie there, then we'll maneuver one more time. We don't need all 3 thinking ahead, so we'll bottom one of those. And we'll boost with the turtle power to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Clear out all of these. And then end of round stuff, we're going to have Shredder go first, so he is going to advance by 2, which is enough to move this, and we're going to have Queen's Fall. This resets, and now Manhattan is under threat. When a borough becomes threatened, you deploy 1 foot soldier per player, so we're going to fill up Manhattan. But Queens is clear and has been, I think, the entire game. I don't actually know. I think we started with them there because when you do the setup, you start with 1 per player in the borough. But I don't think any got placed there. He hasn't been up there at all. None of us have really been up there too much either. Queens has been relatively peaceful as the rest of the city erupts in chaos. And then these 2 clear each other. Then we do get Muckman and Joe Eyeball. This will let us shuffle cards from discard back into deck when drawn, and then we are reshuffling, and we're down to just 1 henchman in the deck. We still have 2 allies, and honestly, they're both really good. These 2 so far seem like the strongest. I'd be surprised if there's any that are stronger than everyone draws a card. But someone shuffles back from discard into deck is also pretty good. I think it's probably the second best we've seen so far. Speaking of, we did get to see the new ally. Irma. Reveal the top card of an enemy's deck. You may discard it. It's solid. The fact that you can't time it when you want. Like the two that we have in the deck now, the everyone draws 1 and reshuffle into deck, those are good whenever you draw them. These, this can be really good if it's drawn at the right time. It's always going to be solid because having that info of the enemy's deck and being able to dodge like a rough card is good. It's just, you want to be able to fully take advantage of this necessarily because it's random when it pops up, unlike the Mothman Bridge that lets you reveal the top 2 of a deck and discard 1, because that you can do it right before you're going to attack. This is still really solid, though. I think it's better than the early ones that we saw. I don't think it's better than the other 2 that we have. It's maybe on the same level of the like shuffle a card back from discard, because at least with that, you don't immediately get the benefit, right? You have to draw back into that card, whereas the everyone draws a card is just always going to be good. Speaking of, everyone draws a card. Donnie gets Shift Focus, so this is the first card that we bottomed, I believe. Or, this is the first card we bottomed during the game, so we are now officially cycled through the entire deck, and we are starting to draw stuff that we've put on bottom in past turns. Recover 1 health for everyone, that scheme again for Mikey. We have Eat, Sleep, and Breathe Ninjutsu for Leo, another copy of that. And then for Raph, we have Payback Time. There. Deal 1 damage to hero. That's rough that these are going to get removed. That's very unlikely that that happens, but it did, which is annoying. Everyone's going to heal 1 when Mikey plays that scheme, so I guess we'll deal 1 to Donnie since he is not hurt. Shredder's going to fill up the Bronx. Not completely, actually, because this does have 5 spots, which means we can... Oh, it's got 6 spots. It's the biggest burrow. I actually think this down here is fine, because we can have Splinter take care of that. I drew from the... It's face down. I drew from the Henchman deck. That's not supposed to be there. Player may shuffle a card from their discard pile into their deck. I think we're gonna shuffle back a Donatello Does Machines, because that card has been really good for us. Turns out getting a recursion for all 4 players in a 4-player co-op is good. Who would have thunk? Also, that shuffles back the other one now, because the one that we... Not the one that we just played, obviously, but the one that we played earlier and then put on bottom with the Thinking Ahead. That was kind of... I think it was still pretty close to the bottom of the deck, so now there's 2 shuffled in there, and honestly, like, his deck's pretty thin at this point. We've got 8 cards, so 2 of those, so it's a 25% chance that a draw gives us. Actually, it's more than that, because we get 2 looks at it if we maneuver. So we're very likely to find some of those schemes again. Cool. Leo is up. So we know that Shredder's going to be blocking with the card that scales off his foot soldiers. Unfortunately, because he filled up the burrow before we went, that is making that card a 5 right now. So it means I'm going to want to try to clear out some of these with Splinter, I think. Let's go ahead and, with Leo's ability, move Raph here, just so he's got a spot to be. Actually, if I'm going to boost with a 3, I guess I will move Leo instead. And then I'll maneuver. Wise Beyond His Years. That can combo with the Force Sensei that we've got. I'm going to boost with Quick Strike, because it's the only 3 boost I have currently. We're gonna have Splinter be the one to clear 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It at least gets her to 3, so his block is only gonna be a 2. Can't get it down to the minimum of 1, but that's fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we'll smack him with the 6. And he'll block for 2. So he'll take 4 down to 18. And then he will put a dude here, I guess. I do like that that's the second time we've used that, and it also got discarded initially, so it's been recurred twice and attacked with twice. So that's going to be Donnie. And let's start with a maneuver. We do not find the Donnie Does Machines, unfortunately. What's Mikey doing? Can he clear out the... Mikey really wants to get in and start smacking Shredder because he has a lot of good attacks. So he's less likely to be able to clear out stuff. I guess Metalhead is going to be clearing some... Well, let's bottom my favorite card to bottom and Shift Focus. Let's boost with another one. Go 1, 2, 3, 4. Get rid of these 3. Unfortunately, cannot remove that one with that movement because we had Metalhead clear out. Guess we'll Party Wagon because I'm going to overdraw otherwise. And we'll just have Raph kind of kick Shredder in the face for 2 down to 16. And then we'll maneuver. And we did get, at that time, it was very likely at that stage, obviously. We'll bottom a quick strike, and we'll boost. Do we need to boost? No, actually we don't. And because I played the scheme, I don't overdraw. So we'll go here with Donnie to get the ally, and we'll just clear out this one. So Manhattan's clean, and that will be Donnie's turn. It's gonna be Raph. So his two cards that are left are the Cancel and the Deception. Yes, he has a Cancel and a Deception, so I think I know what I want Raph to do. So we'll maneuver. Crowd control. We're gonna boost with Heroes in a Half Shell. So Casey can go 1, 2, 3, 4. Get rid of the last two there. We're gonna attack with Break Something. If he blocks with the Cancel, then we... Unfortunately, we do not get the after combat because he will... Even though we didn't cancel any after combats, he is going to cancel our cancel. Although I suppose this would be canceling the during combat, so it would never get the... Even if somehow we were immune to his cancel, we would never be getting the after combat damage on this. But this is either going to do 4 to him if it's Deception, or he's going to block with his cancel, we're going to lose, gain an action, and then hit the 5 into Deception. So it's just going to be Deception, so we do not get the follow-up, but this is fine. We do 4 damage because we're not canceling an effect, so 2 from the combat and then 2 from the after combat. Shredder down to 12. And then Shredder will reshuffle. And that'll be it for Raph, since we do not gain the action since we did not lose combat. Oh, don't draw the henchman deck. Shredder wants revenge. However, I think he's going to attack Leo, not Raph. Yeah, we'll just block with this. Maybe next time Turtles, so it's going to be 1 damage to Leo. It doesn't actually really matter where I place him because I get to place Shredder somewhere in his zone, but then he's going to skedaddle to... I mean, he could stay here. Actually, this kind of works. Wait. We're going to put him there, and then he's just going to stay here in this burrow. Actually, maybe he goes down to Staten Island. Yeah, actually, I think he goes down to Staten Island, because then Mikey can go beat him up. Yeah, this actually works incredibly well. We're going to put him there. We're going to put the foot soldiers here, and then it's going to be Mikey, and the last card is just the thing that gets our ally. So, Mikey's going to go. For reference, Mikey has 5 cards in hand because he's drawn 1 from this and 1 from recurring with Donatello's scheme. We've got some combo potential, it's just Shredder has cancels, so it might get disrupted, but we're going to try. Let's maneuver. Got another Hi-Ya, so we have all 3 Hi-Yas in hand. So, praying for no cancels. 1, 2, 3, because he has a move 3, gets to get rid of both of those. And then, yeah, we're just going to start smacking. So this is going to be 4 to 3. So it's going to be 1 damage to Shredder. And then because we cleared those 2, he could stay in this burrow, and I think he's going to. So we'll put him there, and then put these guys here and here. And then we do 1 damage after combat, and we can bottom a card to gain an action, which we will. So Shredder takes 1 more down to 10. And then we'll bottom... I don't really think we need the heal, and we'd just rather attack at this stage, so we'll bottom the heal to gain an action. We draw from ability. Oh, now we have an easy card to bottom if he doesn't cancel us. He does not. Alright, so he takes 2, so we're still getting some good damage, and this is actually going to be 3 total after the after combat. So 2 down to 8. Then he is going to do his after combat. This is revealed, so this is going to go on the bottom of the initiative deck. And he's not going to get the soldiers out, so that's fine. And then he's going to take 1 from this after combat, go down to 7. We are going to bottom that April scheme to gain an action, and then draw a card from ability. And then we are going to Hi-Ya him again. Okay, we do have the cancel this time, Fortunately, he does not quite have 3 foot soldiers because he didn't place one that last time, so he is not going to ignore us. He is going to cancel though, but he will still take 2 damage. Down to 5. And then we do not get the after combat damage or the action gain, but honestly, the cancel coming on the last one was, if it was going to come at any point, that was when it was best to come. And then we draw a card from ability. Unfortunately, if he hadn't canceled us, we would have been able to Cowabunga him for 6 baseline. Although he could have maybe canceled the Cowabunga then, so wouldn't likely have gone off either way. We have to discard one of these cards. I actually think the Cowabunga is not that good anymore because we've used most of our action gain shenanigans. I think I'm actually just going to get rid of Cowabunga. And then it's going to be the ally card, and then he's going to get a turn. He's going to attack Mikey. I think I'm just going to block with the blue since we can't attack with it. And it's Deception. You got me. You got me, Shredder. You have fooled me. But ultimately, I don't have a blue in my hand anymore, so who's the real winner here? Alright. End of round. We are going to lose the best ally, the neutrinos, but we also get the last henchman out of the deck. We do get the Irma ally because we are on space 2 up here with Donnie. The new ally is going to be Mondo Gecko. I mean, place a fighter in any space in their zone. That's a solid effect. Again, it's one that you can't necessarily plan around the timing of, but definitely not bad. But it's like the coolest one because it's a gecko on a skateboard, and that's just pretty rad. Then he's going to advance by 3 this time since we do have 2 burrows with dudes in them, but honestly, that's fine at this stage. Alright, Shredder down to 5. This should be the last round, but he might pull out some shenanigans. The best part is, we know that as long as we don't have 3 dudes in his zone, he can't, like, block for more than, 3? Yeah, if we keep 2 guys or less in his zone, even his one that boosts on foot soldiers is only a 3 if there's 2 guys in his zone, and his ignore needs 3. So, seems good to me. Donnie. What do you got, Donnie? Let's just go for broke. We'll maneuver. We're actually going to bottom the Donatello Does Machines because we just want the big boost value at this point. Speaking of boosting, we will boost with Bow Staff because Donnie is nowhere near the action. In fact, he's just going to head on down. Can't quite reach that, so I guess we'll set up to remove some stuff next turn if we need to, but right now we want to remove that with Metalhead and then attack with Untested Enhancements because this is going to be a 7 coming at Shredder after we add the 3 boost from discarding the scheme we just bottomed plus the 1 from the invention. And as long as it's not the cancel, he could go down to 1 if he blocks with 3. If he cancels it, he still takes 2. If he blocks with the 1 that boosts up, it becomes a 2. He takes 5 and dies. So 3 of the cards they can block with, he just dies. 2 of them, he goes down to 1. The cancels, he goes down to 3. And then the 2 that adds a dude or resets his turn, also he dies to. So he dies actually to 5 of the cards, plus Deception. So it's actually like we have a better than 50% shot, I think, that we kill him here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 60% chance he just dies. And the other 40% are still good results. 20% of the time he is at 1, and 20% of the time one of his cancels is out of the way, and he's at 3. What do we got? It's the best case scenario. Untested Enhancements will discard the 3, becomes a 7. Shredder takes 7, down to -2, and is defeated. One of the few times Metalhead attacked. Metalhead actually also, flawless game, didn't take any damage the whole time. And was just doing really well clearing out foot soldiers. His scheme was obviously very good, like being able to net an extra action off of this, plus being able to, I mean, this alone was the reason that Rat King died when he did, because we bottomed the cancel into a deception. So yeah, Metalhead MVP sidekick, obviously. I really think April could have been doing some stuff, but I failed her. I put her in harm's way unnecessarily, and Shredder took full advantage, so we beat him, but at what cost? Alright, and that will be Unmatched Adventures, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the Turtles versus Shredder. I guess we can, in a moment here, look through the rest of the decks and see if there were any cards we didn't see. It does look like there's a few Leo cards here that we haven't seen. Just two in particular. So one of them is Spatial Awareness. This is a Splinter specific card. 3 value versatile, 3 boost. After combat, if the opposing fighter is in fewer zones than Splinter, deal 1 damage to the opposing fighter and draw 1 card. So this is another one that you can help set up with Leo's ability. Where is it here? Yeah, the Wise Beyond His Years. Also, I do like the symmetry here with the card art. And then we got I Have a Plan, 2 value, versatile. Immediately you may discard 1 card. If you do, cancel all effects on your opponent's card and ignore its value. Okay, so this one, I think this one is like more likely that you want to do the discard effect over the 4 Sensei, which is just a 4 that gains an action. Obviously that can be good in the right circumstance, but discarding a card is a pretty hefty cost for that. Though, to be fair, if Splinter goes down, you can use his cards, basically, to do these effects for less opportunity cost. You still are getting rid of some bigger boost values as a result, but seems fine. Also, it's possible that opponents will want to take out Splinter first because he has the healing scheme, so if you only go after him instead of Leo first, he can't... First off, you can maybe kill him before he gets these schemes off in the first place, before you find both of them. But also, if you're damaging both him and Leo, then the healing scheme gets so much more value. Similar type of thing to Huntsman and Red. You want to take out Huntsman first because you don't want Red to get the healing value from the Huntsman scheme. It does seem that Splinter's more survivable than Huntsman, because even though they have the same starting health, Splinter has multiple 3 value blocks, whereas Huntsman only has 2s unless you have knives set up. So it seems like Splinter is very survivable, so it's possible that they're just going to have to accept that you're going to get the healing. It seems like overall the blocks in Leo's deck aren't crazy. Other than Heroes and a Half Shell, it looks like he only has 2s and 3s for blocks. So that is one way to balance out the large health pool that he has. But yeah, the health is still going to make it so it's very difficult to take them down. The discard here is quite nice because not only can you blank a huge attack or cancel a key card, but you could use this offensively as well to get 2 damage through to your opponent, which when you have this to get some auto damage as well, like this is 6 auto damage if you can set it up right, and then this is another 6 if you discard to all of these, so that's 12 damage, which is a good chunk of most characters' health already, and that's before you consider the blank 6s, the boostables, etc. Because these are 7s if you use the scheme with the 4 boost. I mean, he's got some 4s and stuff, so yeah, honestly, it seems like he's got quite a bit of damage. Now, there is counterplay against... Oh, and this is 3 more auto damage, so that's 12 auto damage if you're counting all these. Obviously, cancels can interrupt that. These can also be messed with movement effects, because if you attack with this, which is when you're going to most likely have the most control over getting this effect if you are attacking with it, because your opponent can just not approach you if you're in a position where you're threatening this if they attack into it. But then they have movement effects that they can do, and theirs will resolve first, then you will no longer necessarily be in fewer zones if they can move to like a dual zone or something. Obviously, if you can get in like a tri-zone on a map that like they can't reach another one, then that could be quite strong, but they can position around that decently well. But yeah, cool stuff for Leo. Really good in co-op, which does not surprise me, but seems like he has some interesting play in player versus player as well. Let's see for Raph. What do we got here? Looks like 2 cards we didn't see. Obviously, we didn't get to play it, but the Slapshot for Casey, there's 2 more of those in the deck. Then we got Raph's Scheme. Raphael is cool but rude. Deal 1 damage to each opposing fighter adjacent to at least 1 friendly fighter and draw a card. That's actually really nice. This is crazy good for 1 HP sidekicks if you're going against those. In something like Adventures, it's pretty easy to set this up to deal a damage to all the minions and the villain as well, since you're going to be engaged in combat with them at any given point, so just a good amount of spread damage, chip damage. Decent scheme. Replaces itself. And then we got Unbridled Rage. 4 boosts, so that's good for turtle power. And then it's a 3 value attack. During combat, discard any number of defense or versatile cards. Add +2 to this card's value for each card discarded this way. Okay. So, I mean, that can be a huge attack. I mean, theoretically, like, let's say you get the perfect scenario where you start at 7 cards and you maneuver to 8, and then you attack with this. If all 7 of your other cards are defense and versatiles, now he does have a lot of reds, so, and he's got some schemes, so it's not like super likely that that's the case, but he's got enough in deck that like you could set that up. I mean, this can be a 17 if you discard 7 other cards. Obviously, even if you need to boost to reach them, if they're trying to stay away from you when you've got a big hand, you know, that's still going to be a 15, which is big if they don't have any sort of way to cancel it. Now, that's perfect scenario. It's kind of like Jekyll and Hyde trying to set up the perfect forever Hyde. But I think you disguise it a little bit better as Raph, because they don't necessarily know what's in your hand as long as they haven't had an effect that lets them look at your hand. So they don't know how many of the versatilles and defenses you're holding on to. Also, like, if they attack you and pressure you, because you do have a lot of red cards in the deck, they can try to make it so you either die or you use some of the fuel for this. But yeah, this is a very threatening card, and even when you don't end up needing to use it for its actual effect, like if you just don't have a game where it lines up well, you can still boost turtle power with it and do some 7s there. You have 7s there, you have 6s from KC, you have 5s if you can get payback times going through, which isn't very difficult with your ability. So yeah, very cool. Raph is a lot of fun. I think he actually might be my favorite playstyle wise out of the characters so far, just from the initial playing. But yeah, I haven't had too much time with these guys, so we'll have to see if that changes. Donnie, we definitely saw his cards because he was cycling through his deck like mad. A really interesting design as far as how he plays. Not only does his ability help you kind of have more options and the options you want at any given time, but it can set up cards like this. Obviously, it didn't really matter too much for us because we had 1 in our starting hand and 2 like very quickly. But his ability also helps you find these quicker, and obviously getting these online, you see the value that I got over time. Honestly, even if you don't get like a crazy trigger off of getting them early, or if you get them early and play them early and don't like set up the max value from the actual effects, you still get the ongoing for the rest of the game. So it'll be interesting. If you get these early, sometimes it'll be worth playing them, kind of like I did with Smoke Bomb, where I didn't get any action gain from the card itself, but then I set up all my schemes to be better from that point onward. But obviously, if you can set this up to gain you a bunch of actions, because you've already used a bunch of your schemes, and just go crazy, like I could see some very good potential in that. Electro Grenade obviously can be up to a 6 value attack, and then makes all your feature attacks better, and then this can be up to a 4 heal, which can either make it effectively a 6 block with overheal if they don't get, like, depending on what they attack with. Let's say they hit you with a 4, you take 2 and then you heal 4, so you net 2 health off that. If they attack you low, like if it's on a fighter who has like low cards that have good effects, like a Little Red for example, maybe you net even more health, although she would probably be dealing you auto damage. I digress. And then +1 to value of your defenses makes you pretty solid all around. But yeah, no, really cool design. I'm very interested to see kind of how he plays outside of co-op. But thinking ahead, and Donnie does machines just to loop these and just keep your team fueled up with all the best stuffs. Played out really well, so very fun character when you're on team play. And then Mikey has probably the craziest potential. The reason that the game that I talked about, where it was only me and one buddy playing 2-player against Shredder, the reason it went pretty quick is because he had an absolutely crazy turn against the villain. He got a Cowabunga up to 17 value, which is a bit. I'll have to go through and play out the exact sequence at some point to show it off, but yeah, it was something. Unfortunately, this game we lost April very early, which stops him from being able to do as much with the combo stuff, but we saw all his cards otherwise. Very fun playstyle, kind of like a high risk, high reward type thing, where if you keep getting good pulls with his ability, you can set up the 3 cards that you have to be pretty good to start off your combo, and then you're hoping to draw into more to chain things together. Of course, in actual player versus player play, then you'll have movement effects, cancels, etc., combo breakers like normal people trying to stop you. So I don't think it'll be busted, but he definitely has some of the craziest potential out of any character in the game because of how his ability works. And that will wrap us up for Unmatched Adventures Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Pretty soon I will have the video with the Krang scenario posted, and I think I'm going to use Lee Ali for that, since that is also now available through Restoration's web store for order. For anyone who is interested in getting this set for yourself, go ahead and check the link in the description. You can get it from Restoration directly. Anyone who backed it on the Kickstarter will be, fulfillment will be within the next month or so. I think it was early to mid-November is when they were estimating for US backers. And I think the timeline was pretty similar for international as well. Certainly be doing more of this soon. I might do some on stream. We'll definitely do some more videos at some point on the channel as well, in addition to the Krang playthrough with the Leali set. But yeah, can't wait to test more combinations and start mixing and matching with stuff from Tales to Amaze. Those villains and minions, maybe adding Henchmen and Allies to the other one, or bringing in some of the amazing events into this to make this harder. Always enjoy adventures, and having a whole extra set with 2 more villains, 6 more minions, and a bunch of modular options is everything I could ask for. So hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for tuning in, as always, and I will see you soon. Peace.